YouTube
The
channel.
fuck are they doing with
Number
the
8,
numbers right
Willy
now?
Wonka memorabilia.
Willy Wonka memorabilia. 27.
Rick Harrison has repeatedly come under fire for scamming his customers and offering them less money than their items were worth. He has gained a reputation as a
She ate a piece of candy that she wasn't supposed to.
What
the fuck? What? I don't even go mushroom hunting. I don't even give a fuck about the force. It gives me ticks. And then I get bites from the fucking ticks. Did I not tell you that? And I have bites. I'm sorry, but I don't want to go out there. I would go fishing if I could get to that fishing area.
One of his most
And
memorable
I'm not trying to be mean. I apologize.
Rick went to Los Angeles to meet a collector of Willy Wonka memorabilia.
You
Loaned
screamed
a
at me
number of
long enough,
props
huh?
from the original movie starring Gene Wilder. All-Star flipped over.
Yeah, but you have to
through
walk
the
through
items.
all
The seller
kinds of
made
shit to get
clear
to
he's
each
not
one.
letting go of them unless Rick meets his asking price. He was impressed by each and every item in his collection, but couldn't imagine going home without the everlasting gobstopper this guy had. The only problem? He wanted $100,000 in return. Everyone expected Rick to walk away, but he eventually spent all that money on a tiny piece of fake candy. It turned out to be a pretty reckless move, since everlasting gobstoppers usually sell for $40,000, wasn't even in such great shape. Number 7, Austin Healey Sprite.
Cash money, we can talk.
All right, $5,000. Okay, now let's do this paperwork, man.
You must be either stupid or brave to buy a car that's not running. And that's exactly what Rick did during the episode Helmet. He met up with a guy who was trying to sell his vintage Austin Healey Sprite from 1964.
I'm getting someone with no
Rick wasn't
fucking
ready to give
writing
him
on it,
$10,000
okay?
in return. The Pawn Star knew he couldn't possibly sell it for that much, and they eventually settled on $5,000. The guy claims the car only needed a little tune-up, and Rick made the mistake of taking his word for it. He should have known something fishy was going on when the engine wouldn't start, but he decided to go with the flow. He asked restoration expert Wally Corhonen to help him get the car in a better shape, but he was up for an unpleasant surprise. It turned out this vintage model
Recording
needed
doing
more than a
nothing
little
here.
fix.
Really
Rick was
pissed off
looking at
everybody
$6,000
by you pushing
in
play.
expenses
And
in
they're
order to help get it in
secretively
some working
fucking
condition. He
sneaky
decided
about
to
it.
try and sell it as it is, and describe this purchase as
There's
one
no
of
way
the
to do
worst
anything about it.
mistakes he's ever made. Rick felt it sometimes
I don't
best to
understand
walk
the
away from a
games.
bad deal
All I know
before
is
it
I
gets
hear it.
worse, and admitted he's
It all
dreading
gets
telling
worse.
the old man he squandered away $5,000. Everyone was pissed off after hearing about his screw-up because it cost the shop a lot of money. Number 6, Shekel of Tire. Despite their best attempts, pawn shop owners can't escape buying stolen goods every once in a while. It's just one of the risks of running this type of business, and Rick Harrison was left to deal with the consequences of his actions after each and every risky purchase. One of them was featured on the episode Shekel and Hyde back in 2013. A guy walked into the store trying to sell a collectible Tyrian shekel. These coins gained notoriety as a likely mode of payment that funded a betrayal of biblical proportions. According to legend, Judas received 30 pieces of silver coins before he turned his back on Jesus. The seller tried to drive the price by telling Rick it's possible this coin once belonged to Judas, but he wasn't falling for that. The pawnshop owner was still interested because the coin was valuable due to its rarity, and eventually cashed out $1,600 in order to buy it. It later turned out the coin was stolen, and everyone was angry at Rick because they weren't impressed by this purchase in the first place. Luckily, he was allowed to keep the coin since the original owner already collected the insurance money. Rick still paid way too much to buy this item, and it definitely wasn't worth it since it gave him hell. Number 5, 1968 Ford Mustang GT. It's no secret the Harrisons are crazy about vintage cars. They are practically
They blocked
incapable
whatever he
of
said
saying
out.
no to a
You notice
famous
that?
old model. No matter how much you might love something, it's still important to distinguish between a pile of gold and a pile of garbage. Rick Harrison failed to do so during the episode Bulletproof, where he spent a fortune on a car he couldn't possibly sell. The old Ford Mustang GT he checked out with Corey was so rusty that you couldn't even tell what color it was before. But that didn't stop Rick from describing it as the coolest car ever made. It was the same model that Steve McQueen drove in the cult classic Bullitt, and Rick just couldn't resist it despite its deplorable shape. Corey couldn't believe his dad was even considering buying this vehicle, but he eventually cashed out $12,500 for it. Rick was sure he could easily fix it up and sell it to one of the McQueen collectors, but it required too much work. And it wasn't even the actual car from Bullitt. Everyone felt he made a bad deal, especially since he didn't have a great track record buying and selling Steve McQueen memorabilia. Despite his immense love for this vintage Ford Mustang, even the old man described it as a piece of junk. Number 4. Edward Curtis Prince.
Lisa's a friend of mine. She manages a pawn shop here in Florida, and she's got some really cool stuff. Usually she drives a pretty hard bargain, and she's trying to sell.
Most of the customers who managed to give Rick Harrison a run for his money weren't just regular suckers who walked into his shop not knowing what they're selling. They needed to be experts in order to trick him into spending more money than their items were actually worth. And Rick really found his match in Lisa. She was also a pawn store owner who occasionally came into Rick's shop to sell some of the high-grade items she came across because Rick would have better luck finding a buyer. On one occasion, she came in with a set of prints of Native Americans taken by the
renowned go all the way back to the
photographer
beginning
Edward
there.
Curtis.
The one
Rick
I
was
leave
impressed
some.
by these prints, and he could easily tell that they were real. But there was just one tiny problem. Some of the photos weren't in such great shape, and Harrison wasn't ready to meet Lisa's asking
They
price
get rid of all the rocks.
$15,000 because they were a little rough around the edges.
They're dangerous. Did you hear that?
$10,500, and Rick felt it was a good deal at the time, but probably regretted it later on.
Why?
This collection is currently available for purchase on the official Pawn Stars website with the asking price of $10,500.
I don't think he really regretted that.
Long story
what
short,
I was saying.
they won't make any profit, even if they manage to sell it. Number 3. Disney Store Displays. Spending $30,000 on a set of paper maps may seem like a crazy idea, but not if you're a sucker for Disney. Rick happens to be a big fan of classic cartoons, and that's why he describes the collection of vintage Disney stories as the coolest items he ever had. The whole collection he came across that day was pretty impressive, as Rick desperately wanted a piece of it since he's a closet Disney freak. Harrison eventually cashed out $32,500 for 3 paper-mache Mickey Mouse statues, but some of the viewers felt this was another reckless purchase. Rick came off as gullible and out of touch with reality because the seller obviously used him to promote his business. His appearance on Pawn Stars led to more publicity and gave him a chance to showcase some of the Disney fanatics were crazy for. Number 2. Macho Man costume. Corey Harrison is a big fan of wrestling, and he was pretty impressed after a guy walked into the store trying to sell a Macho Man costume that once belonged to Randy Savage. The hat, shirt, and pants were all signed by the wrestler, as the expert Steve Brad confirms that they were real. Corey eventually sold the set for $5,000, but the store is still struggling to sell it. Even Chun-Li felt it's too much. He described it as a Halloween costume. The Pawn Stars aren't the only ones that sell a trick. So was Macho Man's wife who gave him this costume as a gift after he asked her to. The seller just happened
Pictures
to
of
be
people, like a group of people.
He was pretty close with the wrestling legend. After Savage passed away, his wife let him pick any of the items from the closet, and he
Times
went
4
with
months.
his bright yellow costume. Some of the viewers
Or
felt
4 years,
getting rid of this item was pretty
bills
disrespectful because it
equals
felt like
this
the
amount of
seller
money.
was betraying Macho Man's legacy.
How can you show a picture of 4 years? How can you show a picture of 4 years bills paid? You draw a picture like a cartoon of them
could eventually turn a profit, even if they
putting
don't
the
sell the
envelopes in.
world-famous gold and silver pawn shop. Finding a buyer at an auction is always a possibility. But Rick Harrison doesn't have a great track record with auctions. He experienced a world-class loss in 2015 when some of the shop's coolest finds sold for far less than he was hoping for. Rick lost a total of $100,000 that day and admitted he couldn't find a silver lining in the whole situation. He was dreading going back to the shop and sharing the news with the rest of his family because it was one of the biggest losses he ever faced. Rick took this big hit thanks to two major items: a Fender guitar that once belonged to Vic Flick and an Indian motorcycle with a sidecar from the 40s. Rick stated he lost $29,000 on the motorcycle, while the guitar lost him $35,000. The sellers who got rid of these items certainly struck a great deal. The same can be said about the poor old Rick. Thank you very much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content, and don't forget to check out one of the other two videos on your screen.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Public Freakout. By some miracle, we have managed to reach 140,000 subscribers on this channel. So I just want to give a big old shout out to all my subscribers and the people who watch these videos and leave me likes and cool comments. You guys are legends. Thank you. Well, I am a big fan of today's lineup, so without further ado, I'm just going to hop right into it. This video is less of a freakout and more of a cringe interaction, but this guy is standing on the bus is getting ready to leave. It looks like it's pretty gosh darn full, and this gentleman decides that for whatever reason he doesn't want this bus leaving the station, and he's going to stop it by whatever means necessary. If you tried to pull this crap on a crowded bus in an American city, everybody's trying to get to work, this would have turned into a full-blown escalation. But instead, here we have dozens, if not hundreds, of onlookers who are just like, we'll sort it out. I can't help but go into conspiracy theory mode here because there doesn't seem to be any logical explanation for why this guy would want the train not to leave. He doesn't put up enough of a fight that it seems like a really serious thing. He's trying to wait for somebody to make it to the bus or something like that. He just kind of seems confused by how the door works. It almost looks like he's just kind of accidentally passing his hand in front of it and not even noticing, oh, well, there's a door there. But then at other times, he kind of seems to slip his hand in.
What? Yeah, I guess. I don't remember what he looks like.
Especially at the beginning of this video. It seems like this guy's kind of wrestling with the door to keep it open, which to me means
I'm just trying to see if I actually wrote this properly, and this guy's fucking with my hair a little bit.
Why? Well, I just decided I'm going to pin the comment.
Writing it to the best of my ability, where everybody in the world is understanding us to the best of their abilities. 4 years of your bills paid for capitalists to sell you animals.
That he's overcharging him. He seems to think that he went out of his way purposely so that he could rack up more miles and therefore more money. What he doesn't realize is that this isn't a cab and that's not how any of this works.
I'm not giving you. You're the one wrong. You can call them. Sir, please. Call the police. You can call police. No, you call police. Sir, I'm asking you to do my complaint. I'm asking you, why did you overcharge me? That's what I'm asking. Sir, I don't even know how much
It could be 140 years.
The system doesn't tell you to go west when your final destination is east.
I know it's on there somewhere.
I'm following directions on GPS. You saw me following directions. I didn't see nothing. Directions come out.
My phone was right here. My phone was right here.
Yeah, but they tell you over the intercom, over the phone, where I can hear you.
Please do my
Look, you,
sir. I'm asking.
you asshole, you trying to double charge black people. That's what you're doing, and you know you're wrong.
I'm kindly asking.
I'm asking you, all I ask you is to give me
I'm
your
not gonna
name and
double
your
check
badge number.
anything.
Okay.
Put it
I
on
have
here
no badge
twice.
number. You can have my ID. This is my name.
What's your name? Let me see. I can't see it.
This is my name. Anything else?
Could you put it back on this so I can see it? This toward me. Hey, this man over charge you, Ricky, picked me up at your house, right? And instead of going east, this way you went over to Broadway west. And then came back down Broadway,
Sir,
up to Gonzales.
I'm trying to explain to this man that I'm following the app.
You
all I
didn't
gotta
follow
do-
you out. I
all I
didn't see
gotta
the
do is-
cab, Ricky. The man went out the way.
This is not the cap. This is the left.
They
We're not getting.
don't tell you, they don't tell you to go out of the way.
Extra mile. Yeah. He asked me to call police.
No. I asked you for your ID number and you wouldn't give it to me.
Sir, I don't have to do that. Alright, thank you.
So, on top of not knowing how Ubers work, this guy decides to ask him for his badge number, which is normally something that you ask a police officer, not an Uber driver. They don't have badges. What badge? Even taxis don't have badge numbers. At a certain point, okay, maybe he's hard-headed, but you gotta wonder if he's putting up such a fight here and he's disregarding all the information that you're giving him because he's trying to game
It's
the
like
system.
paying for
It certainly
cracks.
wouldn't be the first time that
Pay
we've
for
seen
what's
somebody trying to
available
get out
for.
of paying for an Uber, and it probably won't be the last. I think the takeaway here is, if you are driving Uber or Lyft, get a dash cam and record horizontally. Well, this video is absolute mayhem. As many of you might already know, the March Madness tournament is coming to a close, and Texas Tech's victory was a really big deal for Texas Tech students. So, what do? They flip a car. Well, I gotta say, even in my line of work, you don't see that every day. Did anybody else catch at the end of the video?
Am I the only one that has them?
Yeah.
I think this is my last one. Last one.
I think that's pretty much the only way this video could have gotten better. This video pretty much.
It was my last one. I'm smoking it right now.
I made some
Here you go.
questionable choices.
The last
this year,
one.
even though I shoot for the stars. I want that $1 billion from you right above it. Well, this is a wonderful and complicated freak out, so it's going to take a bit of a
He wants the amount
So
written
the shoe
in
store
here
is
that it's
running a
actually
raffle,
going to
and they're
cost.
running parallel raffles, one for their
Or
customers and one
that
for
they're
their
going to
employees.
profit.
Now, the same pairs of shoes are up for grabs in both raffles. This guy's wife wins a pair of shoes as a customer, puts her name on the list after calling in, sends her husband to come get those shoes, only to find out that an employee won the same raffle for the same shoes and was prioritized over the customer. So he comes to the store, he's asking them where the hell his shoes are, and they're telling him, sorry, you're shit out of luck. We gave it to our employee, they get first pick, sucks to suck.
They'll make $5,832,000 in 9 years.
It's not about her name being there, but it has to do with we have 10% of our profit that our employees get first. One of my employees wanted that, so they get it before the customer gets
Their
it.
employees can't get it. It's on their website. I even call customer service.
Actually, 10% of our
It's only
inventory are
I spoke to a customer.
10% of the energy is dams or something like
it's
that.
already gone. I don't even have it.
I don't really know
Well,
for
then I'll
sure,
take another
but it's got to
I
be
don't
something
have
like that.
another
Her name is
I'm
on
guessing.
the list.
Her name is not on my list.
Can I see the list?
Can't do all people.
So see, her name is on the list.
No, we're not allowed.
You just told me there was a mix-up. So
Yeah,
her
there
name
is
was
a
on the list.
mix-up. No, there is.
No, you just told me that her name was on the list.
I
For the
didn't
other
say.
person.
Hold on.
I got it on tape.
Where are all the dams and how to calculate all that stuff? I
You just
don't
said,
know.
listen to you just said, I'll play it back.
This guy's being a jerk.
I'll play it back. I'll play it back for you. You just said
Okay, I'm
there was a
trying
mix-up.
to listen to
Her
you,
name
but
was
you're
on the
not-
list.
There's 18,000 people, $300 a person, 12 months, 90 years. 20 years it
I
only
know
be
I know her name was on the list because I saw it.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Why do you do that?
1
I
million.
didn't call yesterday.
I know,
wasn't
but
here.
they called us and they.
So I'm trying to work with you. I can try to see, call another store and see if Inland Center has one or something else. But
I want to see the list. Because her name's on the list, right?
No, we
I
can't.
can't show you the list, bro. Like,
She just told me her name was on the list.
No, I
You
didn't.
guys-
I said there was a
I'll play it
mix-up.
back for you. No, I'll play it back for you. You just told
I
me.
said our employee.
This is what you said. There was a mixed up. There was a size
I know
6,
what she said.
but one of our employees ended up taking it. 10% of our employees. I got it on tape, like I said.
I'm not afraid of you.
I'm not
Actually,
saying that.
legally, I can sue you for
Yeah, this
Go ahead.
is really getting
You
scary
can
now
see
because
that's
I'm
what we
looking
got.
at numbers and she's working with good numbers. She's doing the right thing.
I physically did not.
What's
I
he
got
doing?
The call from the store on my caller log.
Look, I am not gonna argue with you.
I
I'm
could call
trying
another
to
store and have them
find.
save me a
I'm
friend.
trying to find you.
Now, Robert, come on.
I'm trying to find you a solution, but you're not even giving me an
So what's your
opportunity.
solution?
Like if you're gonna sit and have an attitude with me
I'm
and
not
be
gonna have
disrespectful
that.
to
It's just
me and
like
yell at me,
she really wanted that shoe and
I get it. A lot of people really want these
she
shoes.
got called for it.
And you know what? The person that called, the manager that was here last night. I will have a conversation.
Also, it was a manager that called her like.
The only managers are allowed to.
So you guys had a
But
size 6 at that
saying,
time.
no, you're saying that you gotta call.
I know her name is on. How come you don't want to show me the list? Because you know her name is on
No,
the list.
because I'm not allowed to show you.
You just had it right here.
But
And
I
if
am.
he took it
You're
back there,
a
so I told him I
customer.
wanted
I
to see
cannot
it.
show you anything that has to do with my business. But this is not like we deal with people on a daily basis.
I know
I'm
you
not
guys.
trying to.
Like you said, you told me earlier. This
Some other girl's taking the job of getting this somehow, not her. Leave her alone. That's what's going on. It's something weird. I'm not trying to treat you like that. That's what he's doing to you, and I hear it.
Right. Square and fair, and now you guys don't want to give it to her because you just said that your employees get 10% or what?
Right, and if an employee asks for the shoe first,
This is real. All I know is that this is real. For real, like for everybody, real.
that's just what it is. She didn't know that the employee on their side was what it is.
So she her name was on the list. If you come to their store, see if you can have it.
I don't know what you're doing.
I tried to call her when I was in the back. She did not
It could go higher. It could be 130 something.
Take it on to their store, see if you can get me a pair.
Again, like you doing all that yelling stuff. You want us to help you.
Just do 90.
Then you telling us all that.
Just that, sorry, bro. No, I mean, come on, think about it. Like you said, yes, issue. I could just go home and
Right,
buy all my stock
Right.
for more.
right.
But she wanted to be square.
Totally understand. But again, I've been the person before this. You know what I mean? It just happens, bro. The employee wanted to shoot. Everybody knew what.
So the employees get a raffle too.
The employees get a raffle. Yes, we do a raffle. You know what I'm saying?
So then if you guys, when you guys take care of that, before
That
that,
has
or
nothing to do with
Our
raffle.
employees have an employee raffle. If our employee wins that raffle,
He gets
I
his
do not
food
have,
to
we do not have to justify that. to
okay, well, could you give me another person else?
First and foremost, I really like that second employee's choice in dangly earrings. You can see it dangling whimsically here as he takes on his aggressive persona. I might be totally out of pocket on this one, but every time I see a guy with a dangly earring like this, which is not often, let's be real, it makes me think of like a Disney pirate. I don't know if that makes sense. I was actually thinking about getting one myself just to, spice up the videos a little bit. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm missing something here, but it seems like an odd choice to have a raffle for your employees and a raffle for your customers and have them come out of the same pool of merchandise, because it seems like that's just asking for something like this to happen. I guess hindsight is 20/20, but I hope you got your shoes okay, sir. So this is kind of an interesting scenario. This older gentleman is getting a complimentary car wash, presumably to fix a mistake on a previous car wash that he already got from this place. And he's still not satisfied with the job that they did, and he decided to call him out. Luckily, this person reported the entire thing.
You can't do that.
your hands off anything I got, because you sorry and the company's sorry. Good. I told Robert today, I said, Robert, if you don't take turn, them guys, the survey's gonna be bad. And they said the worst survey to get over here is because of this. So when I quit, no, I got to do. But I feel like somebody gonna do. Y'all the sorriest individuals I have. Only you look at the inside. You don't tell me that. Don't tell me you ain't done the outside yet. You idiot, you ain't done the outside. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You don't have no. There ain't no service. You put that in there, you keep it. I don't want it. Who did? But I didn't either. It's solid. They bring it down here and get washed. They bring it down here and get washed. You have to touch it again, you'll see. Are you threatening me? That's right. Are you threatening me? Do I? Oh, let me tell you something, son. Do I really care? Because you and nobody else can do anything to me. None of it. Shut up, boy. Shut up. You're soft. You're soft.
What's going on, man? Why are you going against me, making the people... Are you a capitalist?
You don't know who I am, so you can't touch me.
I'm trying to be right.
You do a bad job for somebody else. You soft.
I'm not even sorry at all.
Grandpa's not playing games, car wash company. You better get your act together before you...
Car wash. It's a car wash, not a full car wash, he said.
Second of all, why would you continue to go back to the same place that's giving you terrible, unsatisfactory service in the past? He even says at the end that it's gonna be like this the third time.
And the third time it's gonna be said because none of y'all can touch me.
Implying that he's gonna come back to this place and get another car wash there. Is it the only car wash in town? Can you go anywhere else? And by the way, I'm definitely not saying that he's in the wrong for being upset about them not cleaning his car. I do happen to have a good friend from college who, actually a roommate from college who worked at a car wash company like this, and he consistently told me that the biggest problem they would run into was people who were, in his words, over the top about how clean their car was expected to be. And the fact that they would battle sunspots where they're drying off these cars and midway through drying it, the sun is so intense and hot, it's 95 degrees outside, that the wire is just drying into these ugly sunspots that make it look like the car isn't clean. Either way you slice it, this is a glorious clip, and we are blessed to have it. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time I got for you.
There ain't no way you're going to win with solar here, but I get your point. You know what I mean?
That I report, this is the end of this episode of Public Freakout. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to put that like button for a wood chipper real quick, and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and you turn the notification bell on so that you see when I upload. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time.